Page 16, Niagara Falls. At the top of the page, they're introducing a new term that you'll need to know and use and memorize forever and ever and ever. It says DC all coda. I'm guessing you've had DC all fine, because you can have DC all whatever. Doesn't matter. The DC, remember, is short for da capo, which is Italian. It means go back to the beginning. And I don't know of any exception to this right offhand. If it's DC, just go to the beginning of the piece, whatever it is. It gets tricky when you have medleys where multiple pieces are put together and you got a DC. Well, do you go to the beginning of the very first piece or the piece you're on? And normally you'd go to the beginning of the piece you're on. But usually they're clear. They say DC all and they'll name the piece that you go to the beginning of. It gets tricky sometimes. But for us, right now, just go to the beginning. And then the coda, have we had codas? I can't remember. A coda is just another section to a piece of music, and it's not really an official piece of music in a lot of pieces. That made no sense at all. It's a tail, it's a tag, it's something stuck onto the end. But a lot of composers are using or have been using a coda as another official section of the piece, and it's an important part. Because in a lot of pieces, the coda, you can stop right before the coda and the piece is over and you're fine. You don't have to play. It works out fine. But in other pieces, that coda is an important part of it. You got to play the coda. So trying to understand whether the coda is important or not, well, in my opinion, if they bothered to write it in, play it. Close enough. But it's a tag on the end, and you see the coda is the third line on page 17. It's labeled coda. It's got that little circle with the crosshairs, the coda sign. Identifies it as coda. That's fine. So we're just going to go back to the beginning and go to the coda. I'll explain that more a little bit later. 3/4 time, no sharps or flats. We're in the key of C major. Okay, playing all the white keys. Moving all over the place. You see it's got one section in it plus a coda. Whether a coda is another section or not depends on who you ask. I'm going to kind of do this both hands together again, because most of the time it's one hand or the other playing. It's not together. If it is together, it's fairly straightforward. So I'll do it both hands at the same time. Quarter notes, and you're starting, it says RH for right hand and LH for left hand. You can also look at the stems. Usually, not always, but usually when the stems go up like they do in the first measure, it's right hand. And when the stems go down like they do in the second measure, it'd be left hand. That's not a rule. You can't rely on that. But a lot of music, the publishers will do that to help you out to figure out which hand plays which note. But you can't, again, you can't rely on that. However, in this piece, I think we can. So we're up here to start with. It's a C chord, a broken C chord. In the left hand, well, this is a broken C chord. So it's 1, 2, 3. And then as I'm playing this, I'm moving the right hand down. Because now I need a C chord here, with the left hand's in the way. So I'm just holding the right hand over it, ready, so that after I'm done with that C, I'm ready to go here, and then I get the left hand out of the way. So they're synchronized, swimming here, whatever it is. Then the right hand plays the G's, and the left hand plays that C chord, block chord. It's already there, it just plays the chord. Then you do that again. Oh goody. Let's go down to measure 15. That's a 5/7 chord. Normally you'd see this, but instead of the B, we're using the D. Remember I said we could use either one, whichever. You don't even need those. You could just do that. It's still a 5/7 chord. But here we're using that. That's tied for 2 measures. And then measure 17, you stick with that chord, but it's a broken chord. 2, 3. Building up. And now we go down here to G chord, broken chord. Right hand, left hand cross is hovering over it right there, ready to go. So it's again, and here on measure 30 or whatever it is, you have an 8 VA above in the line. So the notes are here, but you're going to play it an octave higher, so you're up here. And the left hand crosses over. They're saying second finger is two 2 over, well, use it with the left hand over, use your second finger. Actually, use any finger you want. I don't care. I don't recommend the thumb because it's a short finger. You'd have to reach further. So 2 or 3 or whatever is convenient. Just use a finger. Now for the coda, you're down here with the right hand. Now you're going to do the C chord up. And again, hover over it. And the left hand here on major 41 comes over to play the high C for 1 note. So again, starting measure 38, you're here. And then the left hand gets those 2. And then the chord on measure 45, it's a C, a G, and an E. And that's tied. And then the last notes, the last 2 measures, you have the low, low C here. And then a bass clef in the right hand to this C. So you're playing these Cs. I don't care which finger you use. They're saying 3, whatever's convenient, use it. And so those are the notes and the rhythms. Now articulation wise, there's not a lot. You have an accent on the first note, you play a little extra. And then on third measure, another accent. And you're lifting up the slurs over. So there's a little silence there. The pen will cover it up, it doesn't matter, you still do it with the hands. So and again, each time you do this, you get an accent on the first one. Connect all that together. Starting on measure 17, you're down. Accent, and I don't connect this and this. I could. But if they wanted that, they would have had the slur line go over the B also. So to me, that means don't connect it. Now there's no accents here, it's soft. You go through and you get the articulation. Then we go back and we add the dynamics. Whatever you think loud is, that first note would be very loud. It's got to be slightly louder than that, so it's just loud. Get softer. Come down about a moderately soft there, somewhere in there. And then loud again. Softer. Again, about a moderately soft in there. And now you're soft. Except for that note is be up to about a moderately soft, just a little louder than. See, the accent is in relation to the volume level you're at. So if you're soft, an accented note would be just above that, just like a medium soft, sort of soft. So it's where you're at. So it's a little louder. That's moderately. We didn't get up very loud here. We just a little bit at a time, and it's like 2 measures at a time. So I'm soft, soft. Now you can go up maybe medium soft, and now you're moderately loud. Then go back down to soft. Now you got a crescendo there at measure 27. You're going to go up to loud, but don't get loud till that dotted half note. So it's like a measure or 2 at a time. This is soft. Moderately soft, moderately loud. There. So say most of the getting louder to the end. Yeah, it's not a straight line going up. It's a curved line where you do most of your changing toward the end of it. For the coda, well, when you go to the coda, you're coming down off of a loud and you're getting softer here. About a moderately soft, and then you're soft there for the coda. Then you have that crescendo. Now we're loud here. Stay loud. Loud with an accent. And loud with an accent. Careful on that, because when you get low on a piano, louds really come out. So you may have to tone down your loud a little bit when on here. You want it to match this. If you can, for volume. don't get louder than that. So maybe you don't need the accents on the last one, just play it loud. Speed wise it's moderato. It's the flow of it. What's it feel like? Well, a lot of difference of opinion on that one. It's, to me, moderato. That's about a moderato to me. You might be a little faster and slower on that. That's fine. It's a personal thing. Then they've added pedal. Okay, let's talk about the pedal here. At the beginning, I'm going to push the pedal down with the note or right after it, whichever. I'm going to hold the pedal down until measure 7. I'm going to lift it up right after I play the C chord in the left hand. Here, I'm going to lift it up, and again I'll play it, put it down so there's a little silence between the C chord and the next G. A little silence. It's like taking a breath. And I'll push it down again, and I'll hold it down until I get down to this G7 chord. Here. Now I measure 17. I push it down right after I play the note, and I'm going to hold it down all the way to the end of the second line on page 17. Lift it up with the hands so we get one beat rest before we go back to the beginning here, because you're here and you got to move the right hand. As you're doing this, get your right hand ready to go at the beginning, and that's so you're down here. There. For the coda, I'll push it down for the beginning of the quarter note. I'm going to hold it down for the whole thing until the end. I'll lift the hands and the coda at the same time. And at the end, that fermata, I'm going to hold the last measure for 6 counts instead of 3, because I'm going to do this with a metronome. Otherwise, you just hold it out as long as you feels right, and then you lift up. So it's that. I'd like to play this with you very, very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I will go ahead and do the pedaling, although I'm tempted not to, but I think you can hear the notes clearly enough. They're just broken chords. So I'll give us 3 counts, and we are going to do the DC al coda. So on measure 13, you're here, and then 14, and then you go to the coda. You just stay there, and then keep going. All right, so I'll give us 3 counts. I'm not going to do the dynamics, just the notes and the rhythms. And the pedaling, and the accents, or whatever else, I don't know. 1, ready, go. Tie, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, tie, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 2 to the beginning. Tie, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now to the coda. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tie, 2, 3, 2, 3, tie, 2, 3, 2, 3, tie, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, off.